Have you ever lost weight only to gain it back? You're not alone. Research shows that about 80% of people that are able to get some initial weight loss will regain that weight within 1 year. 85% will regain it within 2 years, and 95% of people that get some weight loss will regain that within 3 years. But here's the question. What is different about the people that are able to lose weight and keep it off? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. We are going to discuss the experiences of 294 individuals that were able to manage long-term weight loss. I'll break down the 5 key themes in a major review study, and I'll share my experiences working as a dietitian with clients that were able to do the same. Stick around because these insights can change your approach for good. Let's get into it. The first theme was continuous monitoring, and it was mentioned in almost every single one of the studies that this major review looked at. People used 2 forms of monitoring. There was self-monitoring and there was external monitoring. Self-monitoring included things within the self, right? Tracking food, tracking weight, tracking steps, tracking workouts. And external monitoring, as the name kind of alludes to, was things outside of the person. So it was group coaching, or it was accountability partners, or a health coach that was also keeping an eye on everything as well. These tools really help people stay consistent, but more importantly, it helped them stay aware of what their habits and behaviors were. This is exactly what I used in my 21-week cut, and it's also the things that I recommended most of my clients as well. For example, I used Chronometer to track all my food. I'd meal prep, I'd grocery shop, all based off of the things that I already had tracked and knew what was going on. I'd also track my workouts, my weight, take progress pictures, track my steps, right? I was trying to keep an eye on what was working. I can tell you firsthand that these habits make it so much easier to stay on track. Motivation played a critical role. Both intrinsic and extrinsic motivators both kept people pushing forward, though the internal or the intrinsic motivators tended to be the strongest. So the intrinsic motivators included things like having better health, or more energy, more self-confidence, or just having more and new opportunities. This is where I always suggest to my clients to identify and find their why. Instead of just saying, I want to lose weight to feel better, we dig a little bit deeper into the purpose, right? Whether it's better health, or improving confidence, or even just shifting your identity in general. That deeper reason why makes all the difference when things get tough. External motivators included things like support system, lowering stigma, better self-esteem, and new career opportunities. We can't ignore how society views appearance, but it's more than just about the looks. It's about the confidence, the pride, and the work ethic that comes along with taking care of yourself. You carry yourself differently, and people notice that. Clear goal setting was another theme that was mentioned across almost all the studies. People who succeeded, they took their goals and they broke them down into smaller manageable steps, but they'd also adjust them as needed or as their goals or aspirations changed, and they'd track their progress throughout their journey. The research shows that having these realistic goals really helped motivation stay high and prevented overwhelm. With my clients, I like to break down long-term and short-term goals into steps. For example, let's say someone wants to lose 30 pounds. Instead of shooting for that big goal, 30 pounds, we break it down into a smaller manageable chunk, which would be, how can I lose 5 pounds in the next 4 weeks? Then we take the habits and the behaviors that we built during this time and we apply them to the bigger goal, eventually leading to achieving that said desire or said goal. One of the hardest parts about weight loss and weight loss maintenance is enduring the challenges, right? Enduring all the curveballs that life is going to throw at you. This can be both internal and external challenges. For the internal or intrinsic challenges, these things include things along the lines of stress, not enough time, emotional eating, temptations, big life events that kind of throw you out of your routine. A good example for this one I have is when I moved in my current place. I moved out of my old place, which I had a gym pass. I was going regularly. Fast forward, I move into this place. I never really got a gym pass. I didn't really get a workout routine going. And a year went by where I really wasn't working out as much as I was when I lived at my old place, right? And this goes to show that just major life events, this could be applied to having a kid or changing jobs, right? This can have a huge impact on things like your workout routine or your eating routine, so on and so forth. So for the extrinsic or external challenges, these things include things like work stress or holidays, celebrations, also unsupportive peers, and the consistent exposure to high-calorie foods. I see this all the time with my clients who are in a high demanding job, whether that is a job that requires them to travel every other week or a job that requires them to stay the night over somewhere where these might be like EMTs or firefighters. And right in this, right, they have a really hard time building any sort of consistent schedule or routine. And without that routine and that schedule, it's really hard to stay consistent for a long period of time. We're talking a year, 2 years, or even 3 years long. So, right, being able to navigate these, whether it is a big life event that you're dealing with, or being able to manage or deal with the work schedule or schedules that you have currently, can have a huge impact on your success as you lose weight and actually trying to maintain that weight loss over the long term. Finally, the overall experiences of long-term weight loss maintenance was mixed. Some reported that the experience was empowering and was positive, and the others experienced more or less of a discouraging experience. And maybe if you can even say some sort of negative aspects of long-term weight loss. So let's get into both of them. For the encouraging experiences, these included things like a sense of liberation, new purpose, identity transformation, positive feedback, community inclusion, and new opportunities. I tell clients all the time, you are the best project you'll ever work on. Right? When you are sleeping right, you're training, you're eating correctly, like you have all the pieces put together, it feels like life flows just a little bit more smoothly because you're taking care of all these things. That's what really developing these habits does for you. Now, on the other side of things, where it felt a little bit of call it a discouraging experience, these things included things like fear of regain, loneliness, criticism, fatigue, social isolation, and feelings of being deprived. I've had clients share how their friends or their family are criticizing or diminishing their efforts for weight loss, right? They're being like, you're being too strict, or why won't you come out to eat with us, right? There's kind of like this nagging thing that they continue to do. And that kind of negativity can really weigh on people and make it really difficult to stay committed and to keep moving forward. So those were the 5 themes of people that were able to lose weight and keep it off. And they included motivation, continuous monitoring, goal setting, enduring challenges, and the overall experience. So the big takeaway here is weight loss isn't just about cutting calories. It's about building systems. These systems should or can include things like finding your why, making sure that you have some sort of monitoring protocol in practice, setting realistic goals, finding ways to endure challenges, and being able to roll with the ups and downs of the journey. So if you're in a weight loss phase right now, use these lessons to build a plan that lasts.